Hello, everyone, and a warm welcome to Digital Dialogues powered by CXO Digital Pulse. India as a country is witnessing rapid technological advancements, both in terms of innovation as well as adoption. Now, when enterprises are going forward with technology adoption, specifically the emergent technologies such as artificial intelligence, there is one critical aspect that we really need to consider: cybersecurity. Now, when I compare the cybersecurity numbers, as in very specifically the average cybersecurity risk that an enterprise have faced, it has increased multiple folds in the last 5 years. And this is expected to further increase in 2026 and beyond. In today's conversation, we'll be understanding from our expert that how Indian enterprises can identify the risk that exists in their organization, the risk that exists specifically when they are adopting the new technology, and how to mitigate those risks. For this, we have Mr. Tony Burnside, who is the Senior VP and Regional Sales Head at Netskope. A very warm welcome, Tony.
Thank you. Very nice to be here.
Nice to have you here in India, I would say. So, Tony, I'll just focus on my region, India, for this conversation. So, when we are talking about India, the kind of progress in terms of enterprises have in technology adoption, in cybersecurity consideration, for enterprises, what is your advice where they need to really focus and prioritize a thing in the year 2026?
I don't think any sentence would be complete if I don't mention AI. And I think, reality is the prevalence of AI throughout enterprises across the world, but especially here in India as well. Users using AI has tripled in the last year in 2025. But more importantly, the amount of data going into AI apps has increased sixfold. So you combine more users, a lot more data going into Gen AI apps, it lends itself for the bad guys. So you've really got to, enterprises really need to focus on securing Gen AI apps, their users and the data going into it.
And when you're talking about, sorry, you were saying something.
No, I was just going to say one more thing. There's a big problem with shadow AI. I think a lot of employees and organizations, if they don't get the tools from their corporation, they go and find them themselves. So we've got a big problem with shadow AI, which is Gen AI apps that corporate IT know nothing about. And if they don't know anything about them, it's very hard for them to control it.
Absolutely, would definitely agree to it. While I understand all these aspects, and I'm sure the CISOs and enterprises are taking the adequate steps to ensure this, but still, if I compare last 2 years and the kind of predictions I see for 2026 in terms of the quantum of cybersecurity risk, that is definitely increasing day in, day out for enterprises. What would be the key attributes that you would definitely identify as the key factors for enterprises?
Well, I think there's a couple of things they need to do. First, if you don't, like I said, if you don't provide the tools for users to do what they need to do, they'll find it themselves. So I think enterprises, as a first step, need to sanction the certain number of AI apps that they want to. It means they control it, they can protect against it, and they can steer their users to use authorized Gen AI apps as opposed to, as we call, shadow Gen AI.
Okay, great. And are there any specific steps that organization definitely should do to mitigate the risk that is there from AI, shadow AI, and other variants of it?
Yeah, like I said, first, sanction AI app. Therefore, you have full control over it. Secondly, you need to put a security platform in place where you can understand what apps are being used, block the ones you want to stop, but allow the ones you want to with a level of control around it. I often talk about cloud security platforms. They need to protect users from themselves. A lot of time, it's not malicious activity by an employee, it's accidental exfiltration of data. So we need to protect against that. The tools are out there. Organizations need to embrace them and put them out there. They then need to add data leakage prevention. So it's about knowing what the content really is and allowing not allowing sensitive content to go where a corporation can't control it.
Okay. And when we're talking about all these aspects, the mitigation strategy and all, how does Netskope come into the picture? What kind of solutions and how does it help enterprises to ensure that they have the proper guardrails and they have mitigated the risks?
Yeah, so we have a full platform as opposed to a point product that does provide all this functionality to protect users and the corporation's data. Just an example, in our Gen AI categorization of apps, we track 1,800 apps today, and it's growing. And think Gen AI has only been around less than 3 years. So the proliferation of these apps is just growing and growing and growing. You need to deploy a platform that can keep up with that growth.
Okay, great. And this is really key, what we have understood with our conversation with Tony, that the kind of technology adoption, the emerging technology, and more specifically what we are talking is AI, is increasing within the enterprises. It is really difficult to control that how your internal environment is utilizing it, specifically focusing the shadow AI adoption part within the employees. This is where enterprises need to accept that such kind of proliferation do happen. Accordingly, they need to strategize and have a prevention policy, have a mitigation policy in place. Until and unless these all checks are being done, it is really difficult to safeguard your enterprises against the growing cybersecurity risk for your organization. And we know AI is something which is modifying and further imposing these risks at a much higher degree, and the consequences are big. Thank you, Tony, for bringing all these aspects into the picture for our audience and for us. It was great hearing your perspective around it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Enjoyed being here. Thank you.
And a big thank you to our viewers for this segment, this conversation. We'll be continuing to bring such insightful conversation right here on Digital Dialogue for you. Till then, take care and goodbye.